Links between processed meat and cancer. Dietitians and vegan activists are professing the need to raise awareness. Joining us live is clinical dietitian Orit Ophir of the Israeli Dietetic Association, known as Atid, which in Hebrew means future.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to the show.
Thanks for having
So
me.
first of all, in your expertise, listen, one hand says this, gluten good, gluten bad, meat good, meat bad. Is meat bad or processed meat bad?
So, first of all, it's very important to distinguish that when we discuss the link between processed meat and red meat, we don't talk about one study that, tomorrow will come another one that will contradict it. We're talking about the declaration of the World Health Organization that was pronounced in 2015 that stated, establishing upon 800 studies, that processed meat is carcinogenic to humans, and red meat is probably carcinogenic to humans, which is the second highest level of certainty that we address.
So we're looking at a campaign here, what they're doing. So, I mean, a hot dog, obviously an example of processed meat. I mean, this is a very bold campaign. I mean, we see these in America, like about smoking and all this. Why do you think it's important to use it in a way that's shocking to bring home the message?
Because it is such an important message. It's a life-saving message. And it's also important to know that for us health professionals, the declaration of the WHO in 2015 wasn't news, because we have already known from 2007, the World Cancer Research Fund issued dietary guidelines, and one of them was to limit the consumption of red meat and to avoid as much as possible processed meat. So already then we had enough data
and it just kind of validated. Now let's clarify the difference between processed meat versus red meat.
So processed meat in general is a meat that underwent processes such as smoking, salting, curing of all sorts. Usually phosphate and nitrates are being used, but it's also important to know that also salt is considered as a processing agent. So we're talking about sausages and pastrami's and hot dogs, but it could also be relevant to some of the meats that we meet in the frozen section. Because
now, what about when you're going, like the difference between like getting obviously the packaged smoked turkey versus actually going to the deli where they're making it right there, but it is still like, I like honey baked turkey, for example. Is there a difference between the packaged and live with the person cutting it?
Yeah, so you would say that the raw one, the live one, is less dangerous, but still there are all sorts of processing methods, and ideally we would want to avoid processing altogether.
Right. So then what are you implying? I mean, but as a dietitian, I mean, is red meat unhealthy? I mean, we know it has a source of protein, it has, certain fats, you could have lean and whatnot. So what about meat in general? If you're getting, fresh meat, farm-raised, grass-fed, organic, is there a difference between all of this?
So it is a way to decrease our exposure to carcinogenic agents, it's true, but actually what we know now worldwide, the dietary guidelines worldwide, are going towards recommending more plant-based diet. And even in the UK, their new dietary guidelines, they pronounce the legume family as the preferable source for protein. The legume family, like lentils.
But is it enough? I mean, the legumes don't have the amino acids and all of the different things.
Actually, they do. It's a high quality source of both protein and actually both iron as well.
Right.
They're considered as a legitimate and uprising star in the protein group. So it is such a vital change that we need to make in our awareness. We need to perceive the legumes as a valid source for protein and iron. And not only that it won't increase our cancer risk, it actually, due to the fact that it contains fiber and phytochemicals, it can reduce cancer risk. So this is definitely
it is where really at an important. Now, is this campaign that we're seeing, is this mainly more targeting consumers to make them aware, or is it also kind of targeting, the supermarkets and the different people that are selling it?
I think that it lays more responsibility upon the shoulders of the consumers, especially parents, that it's such a huge responsibility to choose with what to feed, with what to nourish your children. So yeah, I mean, and actually here in Israel, it's very prominent that people do make dietary changes. due to all sorts of aspects, nutrition, sometimes even moral reasons, if we're talking about the vegan revolution here in Israel. So we are kind of big in making changes on our own.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, small country with a big voice.
Totally.
Thank you very much.